Cosmic is building, generational business, and we are here to build a scalable technology that can be scaled across the world. So we have pledged to donate one home for every 10 homes we build to the families that they're not insured to rebuild. I think there's a lot of discussion between whether the architects will be completely ditched by the software, and being architect as well. I think for me it's super important that.
If you're following what I'm doing, you saw that I'm heavily involved with a startup from San Francisco called Cosmic Buildings. I'm trying to introduce automation there. We are building these house configurators where we're trying to reach this holy grail of custom design yet prefabricated. I talked a lot about that on this channel, something that I've been talking about for the last 20 years, that the computational design enables us to have custom design yet the efficiency of prefabricated architecture, something that wasn't possible before. Prefabricated modular architecture meant cookie cutter, copy paste, right? Or you have a custom design and then it takes time, it's expensive. But what if you can combine all of that? So that was this kind of holy grail we always talked about. And finally, we have an opportunity to do this. We have already started building in Los Angeles, in California, especially helping people whose houses burned down in the fire. So I wanted the CEO, Sasha, to tell you a little bit about this. So let's start with the talk. There will be some background music in the coffee shop, I think, and I will jump in from time to time to explain what we're talking about. Let me see. I'm here. We're talking with Sasha. So Sasha, how did this all start?
Cosmic is really a personal story. I grew up in Croatia, and in the 90s during the war I was displaced and became a refugee. After a couple of years I was enough fortunate to start building a new home with my family, and it took us 5 years, and I got really obsessed with architecture as a discipline because it can actually create something very meaningful as a home. And that experience really set me on a journey to be really focused on building and creating a better way to design and build homes. And in 2023, I started Cosmic with the idea to build a completely new construction process and design process from the first principles.
The second thing was, why did Sasha call me to join the team? Right? I've been working on some very large-scale projects and using computational design for that, but I think he recognized what my wish was to implement this holy grail of architecture, custom design yet prefabricated, and that's why he called me to join in building this company. But let's hear what he has to say.
Yeah, I mean, you and I, we met at school in Serbia. I still remember hanging out around. You were 2 years older than me. I mean, still.
Yeah. Still.
I remember, still the time when you actually decided to move to Germany, and you were inspiration for me. Really to that's possible. Like living in Serbia in the very close environment back in the times. Studying abroad was really a miracle, and I really was inspired by that. And I think you and I stayed in touch throughout the years, and it was ideas that we share was exactly the same one, and it was, I think, a perfect match that we start working together. I think Cosmic is software defined, vertically integrated design to build service. And software design is the key component. And so having someone like you with in a world-class computational design experience we are so fortunate to have you here.
Now, very, very interesting thing. I talked about this before, but most of the things I work on are very secret. We are very IP protected. The projects like that I worked on, like the Las Vegas Sphere or different airports or so on, I cannot show you anything, not even a drawing. Even when I talk about it freely like this, I've been often asked to remove the videos without showing anything, just talking about the project. So it's very, very, very secretive. And when I ask Sasha now that we're building these configurators, we're building different AI pipelines, 3D models, scanning with drones. There is a lot of innovations going on using AI for zoning and permitting and so on. We're trying to introduce literally a lot of innovations at once into this company. I asked him, how much should we show? Should we show anything? And he kind of told, don't hide anything. Like let's show how the configurator works. Let's show how we use the AI and so on. And that was refreshing for me. So I wanted him to say something about that. Tell me a little bit about this idea of his of not hiding stuff, being transparent, being open, and we will merge this into this community aspect and donating to the public.
Yeah, one thing that I learned over the course of building a business in Silicon Valley is the ideas are worthless, and it's all about the execution. That was part of the reason why we are really open about everything what we do. Then second thing is really, Cosmic is building, generational business, and we are here to build a scalable technology that can be scaled across the world. And so we decided to be very transparent from get going to really attract people to join us or innovate in the same space. Markets are such a, housing market is such a big market. There's so many problems across the world. And as a mission-driven company, we really care about the problem. We care about solving the housing crisis, and anything what we can do, we will put our actions in that.
One of the most interesting parts of Cosmic is this community aspect, and it's a public benefit company, including some houses being donated. And that is very interesting for me. So I would like Sasha to tell you something about it.
We're a public benefit corporation, and what that means essentially is everything what we do has the commercial aspect, but also it has the as well nonprofit and social aspect. As many companies in Silicon Valley are promising to really change the world for better. We've been listening so many promises and really zero results. And as a company that is really focused on solving the housing crisis, we were really looking for a perfect format of the company. That it's not just be us telling what our mission is. We actually created a structure of the company and the governance inside of the company that is mission driven. And so the focus on building sustainable, low-cost housing, it's permanent and nobody can change, even me. And that was really a powerful idea for me. And we are right now proud to say that we are a public benefit corporation. Being right now focused on helping families to go back to their homes fast as they can and more resilient in LA and rebuild efforts that we are really focused right now on. For us, it was really important to figure out how we can actually also help the communities and families who are not in the position to rebuild. Mm-hmm. So we have pledged to donate one home for every 10 homes we build to the families that don't have they're not insured to rebuild. That's one thing. And then another is really we are giving away our custom design for free to anyone who were affected by the fire. And this is really possible with all the technology that we developed over the last couple of years together with you, Milos.
Now we come back to that subject of custom design yet prefabricated. So if you want a custom design, that takes time and takes money, right? So architects have to sit down, have to talk to you, have to come back with the design in a couple of weeks. And this concept design has a lot of parts to it. Like you have to have your plans, some sections, some elevations, some renderings, ideally rendering videos and so on. And we thought, how about we do that within a couple of working days? How about we sit down with you, and you have an idea about the house, and we come back in 1 week with all the plans, sections, elevations, amazing renderings, amazing videos, and so on, so that if you are ready, we can start, we can use that and generate everything ready for production, if not in one click, in a couple of clicks, and get to the construction site as soon as possible. So I wanted him to talk about this crazy idea of creating concepts, design very fast, and in most cases in Los Angeles for free. Do you think we can manage to introduce that as a revolution, let's say, not only in the building of the buildings, but actually designing the buildings?
I think really the unique insight of what we had in the beginning was to focus on the consumers. That's something, from get going, from the day one of Cosmic for me was really important to talk with clients, with the consumers and home buyers, and to really understand their problem. I think and that's really unique. If you look into history of prefab and industrialized construction, usually the focus was on building the factories and then focusing on the developers. But unfortunately, that approach doesn't work, as we have seen. And what really that focus on being a client facing and being obsessed with the client problem, what really led us is to really be innovative and innovate on that first step of construction process, which is a design. And we can proudly right now confirm that we have created a technology that is one of the best one in the industry. And how we know that is by, once we present the design to our clients, emotions and the reaction of people, it's how we measure how successful we are in this first step. Being focused on LA and Bay Area, it's the places where are the most demanding clients. We're selling right now projects from $1 million to $6 million. And people expect, both the high quality design, but also great service. So what we have created, our design software, really allow us to create a concept design in less than 5 days with only one architect. Unlike the same high kind of quality that if it's done traditionally, that would be in months of work and large teams. But also speaking about the idea of Cosmic, I think it's really the deep focus right now. It's to create an end-to-end construction process that is fully digitized. And I think another really unique insight for us is we don't want to have a factory and we are not prefab. So what that means essentially is we are creating the design to build company that is obsessed with the idea of mass customization. And mass customization is really focused on a software. That's the key enabler. On the fabrication and actual construction process, we are using robotic tools, off-the-shelf robotic tools that are programmed directly from our software.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very important aspect. This is something I've been saying on this channel for a long time, that this holy grail that we can achieve is to have custom design, but to have the efficiency of a modular prefabricated system, because we can merge those two. So you can have a completely unique, completely custom design, but then have everything ready for production in a couple of days, like a prefabricated system would. And that's at Cosmic what we're attempting to do. So we're attempting to attack this holy grail, and I think we can do that. The only thing that needs to really be, I think, clarified a little bit. We talk a lot about AI, and we use a lot of AI in the company. We use it for what we call site intelligence. We use it to gather the data needed for permitting, for zoning. We use it for rendering, for visualizations. We use a lot of automation in these configurators that you will see in the future, of how we use our own proprietary software to create entire houses, the entire digital twins, and so on. But for me, it's really important to know that we are not outsourcing the creativity to AI. So we are still we employ architects, and our houses are designed by architects in collaboration with the customer. So I think that's an important aspect to emphasize, and maybe you can say, Sasha, a word or two about that.
Yeah, being in the robotics and AI for the last 15 years, I think there was a lot of discussion between whether the architects will be completely ditched by the software, and being architect as well. I think for me it's super important that creativity is still run by architects, and at least for the next couple of decades, I definitely see all this innovation in a software side in a design software side as the augmentation, less as the replacement of architects. This is something that we truly believe in, and that what we're building in Cosmic. Of course, the AI what brings it's the a high efficiency, much more higher quality, faster turnarounds. So some people can argue that we are getting into instant architecture, but I would actually counter argue and say that people, architects, are actually in a position to transfer their creativity and ideas much more faster, and iterate thousands of options before they presented that to the client. I think that's a very, very powerful new workflow in our profession. And something that I personally believe is that, looking into history of architecture and construction over the last 100 years, we see that there was really a forced segmentation in the delivery chain. And this idea of master builder, which Milos, I'm sure you're very, 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 very aware. I think it's, before in industrial age, we had architects who were in charge of every step of the process.
Yep.
And you basically are not just only designer, you're someone who created the platform where the building is delivered and created. And I think with this new age of software, I think we're actually reversing the whole process, or reversing this 100% of the 100 years of history, and going back to the idea of master builder,
Yeah.
where architects are not just someone who design. Of course, that's super, super important, and we talked about the creativity, which is something that affects the whole value chain. But then architects also become equipped with the new tools that can actually be also structural engineer, can be also robotic engineer, can also be someone who does the supervision on the site. And so that's something what it's really the core of what we want to do in Cosmic, and how we want to build our products and the company. What we have seen is that the last 30 years of attempts to turn construction into industrialized process was always centered around the idea of mass production, and idea of building a factory that are very costly factory that cost more than $100 million, that are created automated line, where parts and components of the buildings are produced and then shipped to the site. What's wrong about that model and is really those factories are usually far away from the customers. So the actual logistics and transportation is really, really a big hurdle, and longer than 300 miles away from the factory is just not your market. And second thing is those buildings are super standardized, and homes need to be customized by default. First, every site is different context. Every client is different. Every site has a different building codes, and that's really something that we have understood from the get-going in Cosmic. And again, really the big flow for this idea of centralized factories, it's the markets. Every 5 to 8 years, especially in the US, you have this big economy downturns, and first economy that actually start producing is the home building industry. And so someone who built a factory that costs $100 million and left without demand, it's just the end of the business. And so what we have created in Cosmic is completely new software and the hardware that actually allow us to bring the tier 1 automation directly to the site, and bringing the robotic arms and robotic tools to the site or close to the site really put us in a position to focus on specific sites, delivering the custom design for the clients, and then move on to the next site, but not building the new project from scratch. We're actually building a repeatable template that can be built on every site with a much, much higher customization rate thanks to software and thanks to robotics.
That's it. I hope you enjoyed this little interview with Sasha. What you want to know about Cosmic, you can ask. There will be a lot of videos soon. There are houses being built in Los Angeles right now, and we're very proud of them. The robot is working, and you will see a lot of small innovations coming together in this company, which is very exciting, because I find that this will show the path for many other companies in the future of how this can be done. Custom design, prefabricated, generating the concept, and having everything ready for production, for fabrication and assembly in a very short time, using computational tools, using automation, using AI, but leaving the creativity to the architects, right? That's something that's very important for me. I don't think that creativity should be outsourced to AI. I don't see the reason for it. I don't see the reason for developing any kind of general intelligence in that sense. I'm more of a fan of narrow AI that can help us play the instrument while we remain the conductors. But we'll talk about that a lot in the future. Hope you liked it. Follow, subscribe, and you will see a lot about this project and many others in the future. Talk to you soon. Stay free.